Love is an industry. Love is a poem. Love is an ocean. Love is
eat a lot of chocolate.
A person can become great provided that they've read the complete works of Oscar Wilde. Then after doing that,
she's a good woman, you know, somebody you're going to connect with, somebody you feel that you can create your entire life with.
Prepare for death.
I like to think that God created us because I don't know why God created us. I don't know.
Somebody invented football. It's probably like one guy that invented football. Look how great that is. That changed the world.
Whenever I go to the ocean and I see the water and it doesn't end, I realize it makes me feel the whole world is actually connected.
Hell, wow. Not a place I want to be. Heaven, a nice, hot, beautiful beach.
Enjoyment, we want satisfaction.
I'm afraid of spiders.
Deep, dark waters.
A killer or monster is living underneath my bed.
I'm afraid of being murdered, I'm afraid of being burgled, I'm afraid of being shouted at.
You can't get everything you want.
I prayed for children, and thank God I have 2 beautiful little girls.
This life's amazing.
Would I like to be honored by other people? I think I would, because it's cool, you know, you can get to drive in fancy cars and meet fancy people, and yeah, it's quite fun.
Respected by others more so than honored by others. I think that I don't need honor, but I definitely deserve respect, just like every human being.
Do I want to be honored? No, not so much. I don't really seek to be in the spotlight.
Not so much honored, I want to be respected. If by honored you mean I want people to consider my feelings, then yes. If by honored you mean like treated on a higher standard than everybody else, no.
If other people honor you, it means you did something good. So it's kind of a skill to you to know if you're doing something, you know, if you're going to the right way.
Sure, I like to be honored by others because it makes me feel good.
I think that honor comes by others if you honor them. So if I'm honorable to others, then yes, I want to be honored by them in return.
For me, honor is recognizing the gifts that God has given to me, and if I can project that, that's honor.
To be honored, sure, if there's something to honor me for.
According to our tradition, and our Torah teaches us, avoid honors. Honors are corrupting. They're ruining your appreciation, your accomplishment. Let me illustrate. Let's say you know somebody, a friend of yours, that got into a situation where he's all choked up, he bought up too much, he needs $5,000, it's do or die, yeah? Now if you walk over to him and you tell him, look, here's $5,000, I know that you're in trouble, and I want you to have it, and it's my pleasure, that's a beautiful act of charity. It's a beautiful act of charity. You're going to feel great if you can part with the money. You're going to feel great. But let me tell you, if you take the trouble of getting that $5,000 to him through a third party, through somebody who says there's a gift that came through the mail, I don't know who it is, this is for you, and he doesn't even know that you gave it to him. Yeah? He doesn't know that you gave it to him. You know that you gave it to him. You saved this guy's situation. You're going to live with it for many, many more years of pleasure than if you gave it to him yourself and he knows who gave it to you. So in Jewish tradition, when you give charity, give it anonymously. But certainly don't seek honors for it. Don't ask people to make you a reception. And you know, that's corrupting it. That's getting something. You want to do something right, do it purely, because it's a good thing, and take pleasure in doing a good thing. And it's certainly the most terrible thing in the world is to seek honor for what you have. Like, you know who I am? People, if they're proud of something, you can know that they're proud of it because you just talk to them as an acquaintance. You talk to them, and in the first 10 minutes it's going to come up that he won the Wimbledon or he's got a PhD, or it'll just come up accidentally in the conversation. Now that's bad. That means that the guy is living with asking for people's approbation, for people's appreciation. Appreciate yourself. You do something right, you feel good, you're helping people, you're fighting for a good cause. Thank God.
I like to show off my biceps.
I like to show off my pearly smile.
Myself, my personality.
I know how to sing. I don't know, a lot of things. I just can't think about them now.
I'd love to say my six-pack, but I put on a lot of weight, so those are the old days.
My wide breadth of useless knowledge and witty repartee.
So if somebody pays you a compliment, you know, you made a beautiful speech, or you dealt with an irate man in a wonderful way, it's so wise of you, that speech was so great, we instinctively say, oh, it was nothing, it was just lucky, we're trying to disparage it. That's the wrong way to avoid honors. But the best thing is, you say, thank you very much. It's kind of you to say that. You know, I really appreciate that comment. You know, it makes you feel good like this. You're knocking yourself. It's not, no, that's not the way. But we're doing it because we know it's no good to get honors. It's somehow corrupting. The best way, somebody gives you a compliment and it really moves you, and you know that it's an honest compliment, the best way is if you can say, thank God I was able to do it. I really appreciate the Almighty gave me that opportunity.
When I get a compliment, I normally say, thanks. You're not the first to say that.
Usually I say thank you.
I don't really like compliments. I guess I get slightly embarrassed, but that's my own, internal personality thing going on.
I'm genuinely thankful to a person when they give me a compliment. This is stuff like that just makes my day, you know what I'm saying, baby?
Sometimes I say stop.
If it comes from some beautiful woman or something like that, I usually sort of get a bit coy and shy, but somehow try to pull off some kind of James Bond thing, but it usually doesn't work. But anyway.
I'm usually very bashful and I don't like taking the compliment, but lately I'm trying to get better at that. Accepting it is always a good thing.
The one exception to this, the one exception that we appreciate in the Jewish tradition, is when your gift, when your honor, when somebody's giving you honor, will lead to a lot of good things. For example, if you show that you're a volunteer and others will volunteer, so you say, I volunteer. And others say, yeah, he does it, I'll do it too. Or when you give charity, and you say to the man who's saying he's working for the sick, you say, I have 5 friends. Tell them I gave $10,000. They'll give you something, maybe even to give more, because they'll be competing with me. Or if do a dinner in my honor, and all my suppliers will have to cough up money. So the charity will get a lot more money. So when your honors lead to better deeds, to other people joining, to people being inspired, then go for it. Go for it. And try not to appreciate the honor too much, but the accomplishment. That's what really counts.
Why do bad things happen to good people? It's predestined, baby. It's predestined. That's the way it is.
Bad things happen to everybody. Bad people, good people.
The reason why bad things happen to good people is the same reason why good things happen to bad people, and it's not in our power to contemplate such things.
It's just life. There may not be any specific reason. I think, we all have free will, and the world runs its cycle. Sometimes bad things happen, and there might not be a specific reason for it.
Well, you can't really judge a good thing or a bad thing, you know what I mean?
Bad things happen to good people because of something they did in their past life.
I think there's a lot of mystery in the world and a lot of things that we don't truly know.
Better that you get the pain in this world and get it in the next.
Because what is bad and what is good, it's all definitions of what.
Why do bad things happen to good people? Well, in our tradition, everything is l'tov. The Almighty loves us like we love our children. So children will complain for the fact that they aren't given sweets, or they didn't get a toy, or we ask them to brush their teeth, or we're persecuting them. They're persecuting. I got to wash my face. I'm going to sleep. Who's going to see me? We're persecuting them. Parents understand that for health reasons you should wash up. Parents understand you got to brush your teeth to keep them. Parents understand a lot of things that kids don't understand. The Almighty understands a heck of a lot more than we do. If you're going to fight Him, and children fight their parents, and they're miserable, and the parents are miserable, and it's just one big misery. If they listen, and they listen to their parents and trust them, then they'll learn about what it's about. Bad things happen to good people is in order to teach them something. That's the only reason. The Almighty does not take revenge on His children, just like we don't take revenge on our children. He doesn't demand justice from us. He's trying to wake us up. He's trying to get us to realize what is important. He's trying to teach us. If we listen and we trust Him, we will grow. Anybody who's gone through tough times and accepted it, instead of complaining, knows that he's grown considerably.
When someone has to do the right thing and hates it, get it over with.
If it's truly the right thing, then he has to find some sort of motivation, something happy, something good about it, so that it doesn't become such a chore and something that he really hates.
Well, you should really love doing the right thing, but in the meantime, just do it because it's good anyway.
That's a small question. Go for advice. Go to someone that you see as wise and ask them for advice.
Say to yourself, I'm not making any excuses, and put any questions, anything like that out of your mind, and go forward.
What should a person do when he has to do the right thing and he hates it? You got to visit an old aunt and she's complaining, and you got to apologize to somebody for doing something wrong, and you know you got to apologize, and you got to... There's so many of these things that we got to do, obligations. We feel we have to do it, it's wrong not to do it, and we suffer through them. What should you do? So you know what you do? Enjoy yourself. It's easier said than done, but you got to learn how to enjoy being good. So I give an example, you know, how to enjoy being good. Let's say you're visiting Manhattan. In Manhattan, they have this beautiful boat. It's called the Circle Line. It goes around Manhattan, on the rivers around Manhattan, and the sights are beautiful. And if it's a spring day, it's so gorgeous. I mean, people really, really go for it. They love it. It also happens to be that, you know, going around New York, you go on the East River. The East River happens to be one of the most polluted rivers in the whole world. Most polluted, because you see, all Manhattan flushes into the East River, and a good part of Brooklyn. So you don't want to look at the water. But you're on the boat. It's a beautiful experience. You're enjoying it. It's a gorgeous day. Now this fella, he's leaning too far forwards. Leaning too far. He's looking. He's leaning too far. And he falls in. He falls into the river. You look around. Nobody there. It's only you and him. He's looking you straight in the eye. He goes, glove, glove, I'm dying. I can't swim. Help, help. No life preserver, nothing. And you know how to swim. You going after him? I should hope so. You know, the guy's drowning. So you jump in. Pardon me, but you know something that comes out of one of these toilets. Pardon me, but hits you right on the nose. That's you hit it right on the nose. You're going to throw up. I'm telling you, guaranteed. You throw up. If no, you throw up. Okay, you strengthen yourself. I mean, it takes a little strengthening, but you strengthen yourself, and you grab the guy. Now your hands are full of mud. You throw up another 3 times until you can catch yourself. You throw up 3 times. You're miserable as all heck. You strengthen yourself again. You grab the guy. This time he's trying to kill you. You know, these guys are desperate. They put their hands around your neck and they squeeze, You can't even breathe. You know what to do? Let me tell you what to do. Just in case, let me tell you what to do. You see, you go down, down, down. This guy thinks you're crazy. He doesn't want to go down. So he climbs up on top of your head. Then you come up behind him, you grab him in the grip, and you're fighting the current. And what's going on in your head? You know, it's universal. What's going on? It's the worst day of my life. I wish I was dead. This guy should have dropped dead before I ever laid eyes on him. I'm going to sue the Circle Line. This is the worst day of my life. Why me? Why me? I never should have come to New York. This is terrible. Okay, you finally get out. You take 50 hot showers, 100 hot baths. You can still stay in the same room. You got a new suit of clothing. You take the next plane out of New York to wherever your home is, and you're never going to visit New York the rest of your life. 20 years from now, we ask you, tell me, what was the greatest day of your life? The greatest day of my life? I saved this guy. And I focus your attention. I saved this guy. And you know what? I threw up 4 times. Now tell me, did you ever throw up in your life? Everybody's thrown up, yeah? So you're going to tell somebody, you know, I threw up? Well, what are you so excited about? I was a good man. I saved this guy. And you know what? He tried to kill me. What are you so excited about? I was a good man. I saved him. You want to meet him? You see, after the fact, it's easy to enjoy being good. The tougher it was, the greater your pleasure. It can be memorable, yeah? But if you try and enjoy it while you're doing it, you got to be a professional.
You can't always do the right thing. Well, wait, no, you can always do the right thing. I mean, you can't always be a hero. If I may try to quote Goethe here, but you can always be a man, he said. You can always do the right thing. It's a choice.
I call my mother in the morning when I don't want to, but because I need to speak to her and she wants me to call every day.
I remember once I took my parents' car for a spin before I had the license, and I scratched it, and I guess I had to tell them that, even though I could have easily got away with it and said that someone else scratched it.
Once I was upset with my friend and I thought if to call her or not, and then I decided to call her. I thought it was the right thing to call her, even though I felt like it was a very hard thing for me to do, and in the end I realized it was the right thing to do.
One thing that I did that was truly honest and I didn't want to, but I knew I had to, was going to rehabilitation.
Being good is heavy. I'm valuable. I'm meaningful. I'm strong. I'm disciplined. It's self-respect. Doing the right thing, just because it's proper, it's like making a beautiful shot. You know, in basketball, you fall backwards and you throw the ball and it goes in. Wow, that was beautiful, yeah? Or in soccer, I don't know how you hit the ball the right way and you hit it with the nose and it goes in on the, oh, that was a gorgeous shot. It's being beautiful. It's doing the proper thing. It fits. It gets into the corner. So there's a lot of things that are not obligations, but are obligations because it's proper. See, if you sign a contract and you tell a guy, look, I'll pay you $100 a month for the next 5 years, otherwise you get my house, you get my car, you garnish my salary. That's an obligation. If you don't do it, you're in trouble. So you just live up to the obligation. But if somebody says to you, you know, you want to buy a home, I'll give you a $10,000 loan. When you have money, you pay me. When you don't have money, that's okay. No pressure. Just enjoy yourself. Yeah. Now you have some money. Who do you owe more? The guy who gave you the loan with a contract that ties your hands and feet, or the guy who says, look, you pay me when you have the money? Proper, right, beautiful. Is the first guy you pay as the fellow. Well, you have to live to your obligations. That's legal. You have to live to your obligations. But in morally, you owe the person who gave you $10,000 without any conditions. And you know who gives you $10,000 without any conditions? $20,000, sometimes even $50,000. Who in the world would give you a loan of $50,000? Who would come over to you and say, I hear you want to buy an apartment, and you know what? I have some money lying around, so I'm going to give it to you. And when you have time, no pressure, whatever you do, just pay me back as soon as you can, Who is a guy like that? Except your father and your mother. And you have an obligation, but it's not with a contract. But if you take pleasure in honoring your father and mother, then you're taking pleasure in being a beautiful human being and doing the right thing.
One should always listen to what other people have to say. He might learn something about them or himself.
Hey, there's a lot of people smarter than me. Maybe they'll teach me something.
If you mean by listen, like, to consider, then yes. If you mean, like, follow everything everybody says, no, of course not.
Should I listen to everything that everyone has to say about me or to me? No. I think that a lot of people don't know what they're talking about.
You should always listen, not necessarily pay attention.
Why do people have to listen to one another? If we wouldn't listen to one another, this would be a chaotic society. We have to listen to one another.
You never know what you can learn. Everyone has something to offer, even if you agree with it or not. There might be some aspect that you can incorporate.
One should not listen to what everyone has to say because a lot of people are talking a lot of nonsense.
If you don't listen to what other people have to say, you'll never learn anything.
I like to listen to people who I respect, and I don't listen to others that I don't feel know much about me.
Yeah, so in Judaism we say that you gotta trust people. No, trust people doesn't mean that you give them complete, you accept whatever they say is true, yeah? But if somebody's telling you, look, you're selfish, yeah? He's trying to teach you something, yeah? Now, of course he shouldn't say it that way, and of course it's ridiculous, you're not a selfish person, yeah? But there's something ticking that guy, yeah? Trust that there's something that you irritated in that guy that gave him that reaction, that he has to tell you you're selfish. So now examine yourself. What is it? What is it that he's saying? Okay, that's a particularly difficult time to do. But when somebody says, we should believe in God, or somebody says don't, and somebody says, you've got to pay attention to them. They have something to say. You say, why do you say that? Where are you coming from? You've got to give them a little credibility. Otherwise, you're turning off everyone. When somebody says, God spoke on Sinai, give them a little credibility. Say, how do you know? Give me some evidence. If you don't give them that credibility, then you're knocking yourself off from any movement from what you are brought up for. Now, everybody knows that we're all brainwashed. If we were born in China, we'd be communists. And if we were born in Iran, Khomeini fans. And if we were born in Gaza, murder the Jews. And if we were born in India, holy cows. You know? The only way you can get out of brainwashed society is if you give people credibility when they tell you you're nuts. You say, would you mind showing me where you draw that conclusion? What is your evidence, sir? Yeah? Trying to be polite. Yeah? And when he tries to give you the evidence, give him a hearing. And you can save yourself an awful lot of trouble.
Good question. That's a very, very good question, and I'm glad you asked that question. I have no children of my own, so I can't really speak from my perspective, but I would love for my future children to love me.
You think they don't love you because they feel that you don't love them, so you have to show them that you really do.
You can't. You can love them and hope that they'll love you.
That's a really good question. This is really hard because I've never had kids. It's hard to dish out information, like answers to questions that you've never dealt with. But I guess teaching, I think a lot of it is giving your child respect and affection. I think physical affection is really important for children at a young age.
If I had kids and they didn't like me, I guess it would be important to not try to be someone else and to just be true with them.
You don't want to get your children to love you. You want to just give love, and if you give love, it comes back.
Parents are dying to have their children like them, yeah? And unfortunately, parents sometimes have a problem. Now, the easiest way to get people to like you is to give them pleasure. You give them gifts. You imagine somebody gives you a Cadillac with a chauffeur, with a year's supply of gasoline, yeah? He's a wonderful guy, he's a nice guy. Parents give their children everything in the world. They take care of their children, and sometimes children are angry at their parents, despise their parents. What the heck is wrong? So you've got to realize one thing. In order to be liked, in order to be loved, you have to make sure that you're giving a gift in a way that people appreciate. You give a gift in a way that people appreciate, they love you.
I would say a parent can get his child to love him by giving him a lot of candy. I think you can get your children to love them by either spoiling them rottenly. I recommend that, especially to my parents. But otherwise, I guess just discipline them in a nice way.
Parents love their children. They give their children gifts. So if they give their child a gift and take pleasure and smile when they're giving a gift and watch the kid using it and it's obvious that they're taking pleasure, so the kid is having pleasure, then he'll love his parents. If they say I love you and they show it to the kids, the fact that parents think you take it for granted. I mean, after all, my children know I'm doing everything for them. I'm slaving for them. So what's the matter with you kids? Why don't you wake up in the morning? Why do you aggravate me? All they hear is the criticism, and they think my parents don't love me, and they resent their parents, and they give it back, resentment.
My father did it by being a good teacher and exceptionally kind.
Best you can do is just to continue to love your kids unconditionally and realize and hopefully that it's a phase that they're going through, that they just don't realize and understand the relationship.
For your wife and your children and those that you are close to and you love, make sure you're sending the right message, a message of love, a message of pleasure in them, a message of wanting to give them gifts, and you'll never have trouble with them at all.
I don't think it should take much. Just, be a parent, love them, they'll love you back.
If you love them, they'll love you.
And be a model of the person that they should be, but not set an impossible standard for them to follow.
If you have any questions or any comments, anything at all, we're interested. Please call.